let's go to Karen in Texas. You're on. Welcome to the Karen Hunter Show. Hey.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Real quick, I'm calling about my reaction from the election results. On Tuesday, I was pretty much numb. I'm going through the 7 stages of grief. I jumped back and front from anger. I'm not there to acceptance. That's a long way off. But I heard this on another show on Sirius about having a protest day, the day of the inauguration. They just briefly talked about, maybe, and this is just brainstorming, maybe having everyone called in sick that day, not doing business transactions, whatever. And I read that they do this in Europe, where there's a protest day of all that. That's one thing. That's number one. And
well,
number
let's pause
two
on that. Let's pause. I was thinking about a day of absence for the first day of February.
Okay, I like that.
A day of absence. That play, A Day of Absence. I actually did it when I was in day camp. At age 10, we did a day of absence, and I had no idea they were doing some progressive stuff in Orange, New Jersey back in the day. But yeah, they had us do a day of absence, and I was a part of that play, and I remember memorizing all these lines. But if we on February, let me see what day is February 1st, because I think it should be impactful. February 3rd, February 1st is a Saturday. Maybe we don't show up on the 3rd. Don't spend money for a month. Like, I feel like we need to have as much pain as our forefathers had with that Montgomery bus boycott to break the back of that bus company, but also send a message to all other companies. I think a 30-day fast, and this gives us enough time, buy your Christmas gifts, do all your things, buy your clothes for the year, whatever you need to do from now. The whole month of February, we spend no money on nobody's program and platform except for Urban View, of course. And but pay that for the year, so you ain't got to worry about it. But I think, like a real withdrawal of our monies for 30 days, maybe even like I would like to even like take all our money out of a particular bank and put it in another bank. Maybe not, like just a show of force. And I'm spitballing right now, Karen, but I think you're on to something.
I got you. Yeah. A day of absence. I like the wording on that. And, and it doesn't have to be, I'm thinking it doesn't have to be so structured like Joe Madison says, what you going to do about it. It's just a day of absence. Now, what are you going to do about it?
But we have to be collective. It should be structured. It should be all of us with a slogan, with blackout our social media. I was calling for getting off of Twitter February 1st, but maybe we need to do that earlier. I was talking with Omi earlier actually about that as well. But go ahead, finish what you were calling to say. I'm sorry.
I like that idea, and I got that from John Thuger saying. I listened to him at night, and they were talking about having a day of absence and I mispronounced his last name. The second thing is
Fugelsang.
When I look
Fugelsang, it's easy. Fugelsang. Yes, he's a friend of the family.
Yeah, I know. I've heard him on your show. I'm a charter member. I was there when we called in for you to get more hours. So I've been with you for 10 years. The other thing that I was thinking about for me, since I'm going through the stages of grief, and I heard the statistic of 52% of white women voted for Trump this election and the election before, over 50%. For me right now, I'm just really angry with them. So in my daily task, and this is what I'm doing, I'm from the South, and we're very cordial, we're very friendly, we're very smiley facing, Right now, I don't have any pleasant facial expression or conversation with white women when I'm doing my errands or what have you. They are invisible. And I did that this morning at a store, this older white lady, and she was so helpful. I mean, like I said, you need help? I was just stone-faced, no reaction. Do you need help? I can do this. Stone-faced, no help. And then she tried to put my items in the bag. I said, no reaction, that. And she kept doing it, and I went, I do not need your help. And I walked out of the store. So I think, there has to be some kind of reaction.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, Karen, for the simple reason that you don't know. Now, she had on a MAGA hat and MAGA bit button and paraphernalia and all of that. And, came with that MAGA energy, that's one thing. But I don't feel like we should do to people what's been done to us. And I also, because two wrongs will make a right. And you're so much more mature and a better person than that. You treat people the way you want to be treated, period, no matter what. And if they come with the energy, then let them find out, you know. But I just having that conversation this morning with the young lady that I was telling you about, and the pain that she has with her daughter, having to tell her daughter why this country has made the choice that it made. And she's as angry and hurt and asking me what to do. I actually talked to Mary Trump today. And Lord have mercy, she got to carry that name with her. And it's the pain that woman is experiencing. And imagine you seeing her out and treating her badly because of what 51% of her sisters did, and it's not her. So the good news is 49% didn't vote for him, and they voted it not just for her and against him, but they were really in alignment. And there's a lot of women like that, and I don't want to be the cause of somebody else's pain because of the it's like black people being treated bad because people think all black people are bad. It's wrong. So we shouldn't be participating in wrong on any level, Karen. I disagree with that.
Okay, I'll take it into committee.
Okay. All right. But I'm okay with you staying on the anger and the denial. I don't ever want you to get to depression, because this is not something to be depressed about, because we still have each other. We ain't bargaining with nothing. I'm saying stay off the seven stages of grief at this point. We can mourn the illusion that we were somehow in a country full of people who were better than we thought they were. They showed their asses. It's not better. The country is not full of good people, and we need to accept that and then build accordingly, which means let's protect our peace. Build community. And I think, this is Omi, and thank you, Karen, for calling and being down with us from day one. That first week on the air was very interesting, back in August of 2014, and not knowing whether or not people would accept this message. And to be here 10 years later is quite a remarkable feat, but it's only because of people like Karen and all the others who were there from day one. But you mentioned Nubia, and I've been very resistant, as people are like, where are we going? And the reason why I haven't been like, come to Nubia, because it's a protected community of people who are, really about building the kind of life we want to live. And I don't want it to be overrun with folk who aren't used to being in community. And then I have to step up a level of police. I don't want to have to do that, right? It's, we got rules of engagement as we do on the show, but it's hyper on that. And I just don't want to have to navigate. And there's a lot of older people there that just try to figure it out. We are very, very helpful. And so I was just struggling with that. At the same time, when they say, where do we go next? I think we need to reimagine what it looks like to be in community around social media. I think we need to reject social media. The next iteration of how we move shouldn't be another Facebook or another Twitter. We shouldn't do anything like that. And no disrespect to Isaac Hayes III and fan base, but I'm tired of fans. We don't need any more influencers. We need people who are going to actually help us build the kind of world we want to live in. I don't want to follow somebody that doesn't know anything just because they got 1 million, 2 million. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of seeing us elevate folk who don't deserve to be elevated and they don't know anything. I want a situation where people are trusted that when they say something, they're saying what they need to say because they have some experience and wisdom and background and knowledge. And so if I'm imagining a social media platform, there are people that everyone have to follow. Maybe there's 1,000 people and they all have a particular expertise in a particular area. And so maybe it's science. We got the teachers, we got the mathematicians, we got the historians, we got all of, the medicine people and all of that. And everyone has to follow them because they're going to tell the truth. Like a Bill Nye, a science guy, and a Neil deGrasse Tyson, and a Dr. Chris Jones, and there's going to be those people. Omi, Dr. Carr, there'll be people that everyone has to follow, and then you have to earn your right to have a voice. Meaning, everyone shouldn't just be able to say stuff, which is the way social media operates now. And as a result, we have gaslighting and misinformation and people thinking they have a right to an opinion when someone's like, how do you shut somebody down? They have a right. No, you don't have a right to argue with me if you haven't done any homework. I'm not arguing with you. And you don't deserve to have a right to going back and forth and you haven't read anything. I'm sorry. These things are not equal. So I'm no longer tolerating that on any platform. So come the narrative, but come ready to work, and it's not like Twitter. So there's no back and forth, no arguing. It's just pure, like right now we're in the chat, people talking about what we're talking about at the same time. It's beautiful.
I love it. I love it. You know what? Okay, so I got a different take on the whole movement thing. I am not against the like, oh, we need to pull out of buying things. I just don't think people would, I don't think it's realistic because we are in the age of convenience. Now we will have to inconvenience ourselves. So in history, we were inconvenienced and then we inconvenienced ourselves more, right? So like, okay, bus boycott. We're inconvenienced by the fact we got to sit in the back of this bus, and y'all just gonna talk to us like that. But we on this bus spending our money. You gonna make us sit in the back? Oh hell no, nah. Right? We organizing. We not gonna get on the bus at all. And it was a huge inconvenience when people have to walk the way they walked, or those who had cars pull each other around. I remember there was a social media post going around talking about how Rosa Parks' husband had a car. I don't know if you saw it, but it was funny.
No,
but
you probably did.
But people were like,
but we know that bus boycott, this is the point though. So let's back up. It wasn't about the back of the bus. Black people would have taken that. We would have taken that in the South. We were conditioned to jump off curbs, avert our eyes, and sit at the back of the bus. The problem was we would get on at the front to pay and then have to get off and walk to the back to get on. And most of the buses, we had to get off and walk to the back, and the bus driver would often pull off. So you put your dime or your nickel in the front and you get off to go to the back. By the time you walk to the back, the bus pulls off. And they were doing that and they thought it was really funny. And they did that one time too many. So the back of the bus was one thing, but coupled with people's money being stolen was just, nah. So the NAACP orchestrated that because, Claudette Colvin, and there were other people that had gotten arrested before. Claudette Colvin was not the perfect, 14-year-old pregnant girl. She wasn't the one, but Rosa Parks was the secretary of the NAACP. So she was like, okay, that was orchestrated. Of course her husband had a car. Of course she didn't need to be on the bus. That was, and all of the stories around it, because storytelling is important.
So this is, okay, wait, stay there. Because this is what I'm so glad you said that. So what I'm trying to think of, this is such a intellectual storytelling narrative fight right now. Right. And that's what I need people to know. They like the physical fight is one thing, but this right now is in this protecting your own interests and this leveraging other people's interests to capitalize. Like this whole capitalism movement. There's something else that I think we need to do. And I don't have the answer right now, but that's one of those whiteboard things where it's like, yes, to, doing those sort of actions, but there's something else. I love what you were saying earlier about really unseating people, like really organizing around unseating people. I mean, to a level where whoever was free to do so, we move into a market for a certain period of time because we know what I mean? Like that level
right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So today we know that 2 years from now, there are going to be representative seats that we need to reclaim. There's going to be a couple of Senate seats now that the Senate is flipped back that we need to reclaim. Let's look at the map, see where those places are. You have to live in a place for how long? A year? Okay. Let's organize again. This should have been the work of the Urban League. They're not doing it. The NAACP, they're not doing it, but we can do. We don't need them. We got us, right? So let's pick. How many people do you need to win? Okay, the last person got this many votes. Okay, so can we mount a campaign to get 20,000 people, and that we will fund them to live in places? And usually these are places that are spread out, and the rent's probably not even that expensive. Can we mount a campaign for the next 2 years to have them and then make sure they're registered to vote, and then run a candidate as a Republican? That's the kind of whiteboarding that has to be done right now. And I think it can happen. Like we need 2 Senate seats.
That's it.
We can get that. Like let's, and I'll help do the math and list some other people. But if we're not doing that, then we're just talking.
My days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, you give me something to believe in, just what I needed. You're the closest.